I'm Old Sneelock. Welcome to another episode of Old Sneelock's Workshop. I'm going to start working on George's Sharpball 1055 today. It's got to warm up a bit before I do anything with it though. I just brought it down. Well, I separated the Sharpball from the base, and I did that so I can carry them both down separately. The Sharpball is about a handful and the base is about a handful. The base weighs a lot less than the Sharpball, but it's much bigger. Mine is sitting over there. It's been assembled now for quite a while. Don't use it much. I really don't have a whole lot of need for it, but it was something that I wanted to use to sharpen the planer blades because the tilt table on the side makes it a lot easier. So what I'm doing with George's Sharpball is I'm letting it warm up. It's been out in the garage at 20 degrees. It's going to have to sit down here for a day or two before I monkey with it, mostly because it's too cold to handle. I'm going to go through and touch some oil on the parts, get it ready to get cleaned up. Not anything wrong with it. Everything on it is assembled correctly. It looks to be in good shape. I haven't plugged the motor in. I'm going to let it warm up and let the grease warm up before I do that. But it looks to be in perfect shape. Nothing wrong with it other than a little bit of surface rust from sitting. So I'm going to clean that up, get it put back together again. The only issue with the pivot on the bottom, why it was loose on the stand, is there are two set screws that go into the sides. One here. There's a pivot point over here on the right side, and another one on the left. All those do is let the motor tilt back and forth. My Sharpball is an older unit than George's. George's unit is a 1055. Mine is a model number 10293. They both have half horsepower motors. Mine is a Belsaw. George's is a Foley Belsaw. George's Sharpball was made after Foley bought out Belsaw. But they have exactly the same operation. Some of the things are just slightly different. Like mine has this open wheel cover, and George's is enclosed. Now I don't know if that's an option, just something that you can get them with a full wheel cover or a open wheel cover. That's just the way mine is. What this does, it lets the motor tilt forward. And that determines how much the motor is allowed to tilt forward. By adjusting these back legs, I can set how much the motor is going to be tilted off vertical. When I got it, the legs were cranked up quite a ways. When I got this unit, the legs were cranked up in the This riser has a pocket in the bottom to allow for the square shank on the carriage bolt. Then this sits on top of that, and then the pivot point rides on top of that. Now George's has this arm, and it has the pivot point, but it doesn't have this unit or this unit. This that's used to set up the saw. The cone goes in there and locks it so that it's centered. That way you can spin the saw blade around. Bring this up here. The idea is you set a wheel on there, and then you set this is the wrong size wheel for doing this, but for demonstration purposes I'm going to go with it. You would bring the wheel out until the point where it touches the blade in the way that you would like to sharpen the blade. You know, you're setting the depth of cut. Then you tilt forward, touch the tooth, sharpen it, back off, tilt forward, touch the tooth, sharpen it, back off, and then that way you go around the blade and you can sharpen circular saw blades. Now this unit only does circular saw blades. It does not sharpen straight edge or handsaw blades. Working on George's sharpener, I'm seeing some other differences. For one thing, mine is only bolted down with 2 bolts, 2 in the back, and that causes this to rock up. There are rubber vibration dampers under 3 of the corners, but this corner doesn't have one. So my grinder is actually sitting tilted on the base. That's something I can make an improvement on. George's has all 4 mounting bolts in it. His also has a single point back here where it controls the tilt of the motor. Mine uses the back 2 bolts on the guards. Now I'm not sure that's exactly the way it's supposed to be. I'm going to have to look in the book. That sounds a little odd. But I'm learning new things. It's kind of a fun experience. Working on George's machine is going to take a little while. I'm learning new things on mine when I'm looking at George's. So it's kind of a beneficial from both angles. I do have the book on it, and I will be going through the book and making sure that both machines are set up according to the book. I've not used mine at all. It's been down here in the basement. I brought it down, put it together, set it in the corner, haven't touched it since. So having George's here, it's going to give me an impetus to move forward with mine. If you have any suggestions for a new video, questions about today's video, or any of the other videos on the channel, just drop a note in the comments. You know I read them all. Thanks for watching.